First, let me say I read with some concern perhaps that there's ongoing headwinds. This is nothing new for this sector. It's been challenged in the past year. So, Doug and Issa, can you just expound a little bit on that?
Yeah, definitely, Steve. We've continued to see the trends that peaked their head in the last, call it 12 to 8 months. Slowing demand in the housing sector has really been the driver. And following that has been oversupply in some markets, which has now started to abate.
Yeah, so with what Doug said, occupancy has been trending downwards. Similarly, with rental rates, we've seen slight decreases from last quarter. Demand is generally muted, even within the Sun Belt, which attracted a lot of investor interest due to high migration rates. We've seen a bit of a slowdown in rents due to oversaturation risk.
But Chris, let me turn to you and ask you about transaction activity. The report lists quite a few transactions, so the market isn't slow.
No, Steve, for good Class A stabilized product, there's still buyers out there for that. It's more of the lease up product and maybe a Class B location where it's very tough to get across the finish line right now.
We're also seeing a little bit of slowdown on transactions of large portfolios. When borrowing money was significantly cheaper, we saw an aggregate portfolios, large portfolios transacting. That capital stack has been a little bit harder to build. As a result, we've seen smaller portfolios in the 3 to 10 property range sell instead of the mega portfolios.
Yeah, so some mixed messages. So what about the future? Give us the predictive view.
Yeah, well, I think we will see recovery. I believe that recovery will be a little later than expected, given the turmoil just at a macro level. Consumer confidence is declining a bit. But I do think when it comes back, it'll come back with a boom.
The housing market is still pretty much stalled, which is hurting demand. I think it's just going to take a longer timeline than what was originally budgeted at acquisition, especially with the gap between move-in rates and street rates, and what's sitting on their rent rolls. It's going to be a big battle to get the tenant back to where the average of the rent roll is.
As Chris mentioned, ECRIs continue to be a lucrative strategy for operators. And in our most recent self-storage update, we actually include a deep dive on this.
Interesting. Okay, well, we'll continue to track the sector and we'll have you back in a month or two to talk again. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.